Hello, my friends, and welcome to the third season of Brand Your Dream Show. Today, our guest, Christine Michaelis. She is marketing and creative coach, and she helps people to understand how to use low-cost marketing and connect with right people. So let's talk about this. Hi, Christine. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited and I'm always happy to share, hopefully, some valuable information.
I'm absolutely sure it will be really great information. So tell us a little bit more how you come up with these ideas, how you become marketing and creative coach.
Well, that was actually not on purpose. I have to say, I always call myself the accidental entrepreneur. I used to work in design agencies, mainly in Berlin, where I am from. Also, then in the UK when I moved to the UK. And I thought this is the thing. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. After I did 3 years of testing out other things, I landed in marketing and did that for more than a decade before I decided, it's not what I want to do anymore. It's not really fulfilling for me, and it's great, and it's helping me now and also the people I work with. But creating brochures or an app or website is less exciting than helping an individual or a small company or startup to actually grow. And so I did a coaching training. No, first I did NLP training, neuro-linguistic programming, and the same organization offered a coaching training. And I was like, what's this? Okay, I'll do that. I did the coaching training and I thought, I quite like this. And then I didn't know, of course, what I wanted to do. I called myself life coach and said, okay, here, this is me. Still had a full-time job. So I started building up my business whilst I was still working full-time. And full-time means in the advertising agency, full-time, 16 hours a day. Yes, exactly. And but it happened that really I started working with entrepreneurs and startups. And I really enjoyed that. So it was like, oh, I'm going to call myself a startup coach. And then people were like, but you have this all this marketing knowledge, because I was so anti-marketing back then, because I was like, I have enough. I have enough. I don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. And I was a bit reluctant, but so many people said, why don't you offer that as well? So this is how I said, okay, I'm put that back in and try it a bit. And it's completely different. And I love it. I love working with people, and I help the entrepreneurs mainly in the first 3 years with feeling less overwhelmed, and also with marketing things. And because entrepreneurs don't have a lot of money usually at the beginning, because they're investing a lot in their own business, they probably left a full-time job, or maybe they have a part-time job, and they try to survive in the first year and try to get their head around everything. That's when I said, okay, they don't have a lot of budget for marketing, and they don't even see that as a necessity either. Because there's so many other more important things in the business. Also the branding side. I mean, branding is not marketing, but the branding of the company. You need to put money aside for the taxes. You have probably some outgoings for like technical things, for software, for all kind of things that you often forget about marketing as such. And this is how I decided, okay, I'm going to focus on low cost and no cost, let's say low cost for now, marketing activities that entrepreneurs can do, where they just have to invest their time, but not a lot of money. That's it.
Fantastic. I absolutely love the story because it's actually correlated with my story on so many ways. I listened to you, it was almost my story in a very, very same way. I did work in agencies. I understand we work in agencies 24/7. You were polite in saying 16 hours
I know.
because brain never stop working. So you wake up in the middle of the night. Yes, that's an idea for tomorrow and next week. So 24/7, it's real for advertising agencies. And yes, when I discovered branding, to me, it was first move towards understanding how people think from design towards branding. And then the next step was when I start coaching people. It was so, I can say I'm transformation addict.
Yes, yes.
I absolutely love how people transform, how they find themselves through coaching. It's amazing. So I so connected with that, what you just said.
And I
So
also
that,
feel that when you're working with people as a coach or as a consultant or coach-sultant or whatever it is in the end, it transforms yourself as well. I
Yes.
absolutely love it. I always learn from every person I work with, but even every person I talk with, even from this conversation that we're having right now, I will get so much out of this. I love it. I love it. If I could, I would just talk to people all day long.
Basically where you're moving forward with your choice of career, right? So
Yes, yes.
it's amazing. So speaking about the low cost marketing, and we both understand that it's either money, either time. So
Mm.
if you don't have money, you invest your time excessively. If you want to save time, then you start covering it with money. And when I explain it to most of my clients, for them it's a sort of revelation, because they obviously become entrepreneurs because somebody told them that you will work in your comfortable hours. Yes, 24/7 is very comfortable and convenient, pretty much all the time. Nobody told them that. And yes, you will not have much money, therefore you will actually waste all your time to cover that absence of money. Been there with my 7 different businesses, absolutely on the point. And thinking about this, I think what you do is really generous and important.
Mm.
But let's get to basics. Visibility is really, really necessary. And you know that the touch points in traditional marketing were like 7, but it was ages ago when dinosaurs were alive, you know. Nowadays, people just need to see and connect with you at least 20 times or something like that. So visibility becomes really, really important.
Yes.
Everybody visible, because everybody online nowadays, everybody dancing on camera, everybody doing crazy things. And when I talk to people about visibility, they're like, I'm not going to dance on camera. No way. Or I'm not going to do. And it's not necessarily has to be that. So nobody explained that, but visibility, it is something else. And especially for professional experts, it's not necessarily dancing on camera. And sometimes no way you're going to dance on camera. I would not recommend it. So tell me more about what is visibility for entrepreneur from your point of view.
Yeah, well, I think it's like you said, it's so important, because I think if no one knows that you exist and what you're doing, then obviously no one will work with you, no one will buy your product or services. So of course, visibility is one of the most important things. And like you say, you need to find the right channels, and you need to find the right ways that you're comfortable with as well, and that aligns with what your business stands for and what your business is all about, all your values and things. But if you're a dance instructor, why not dance? To come back to that. But if not, you don't have to. And you don't also have to go on every single medium that's out there immediately, or never. You need to find the right one, because like you said, you invest your time in first, and then probably also some money. And this means you need to find the right channels for you, because if not, you're just wasting all your time to try to get visible. Now, for me, it's really important that you need to get out there. And we're talking about online at the moment, but that also means networking, of course. I think if there's one thing that I think everyone needs to do is networking, not only to meet potential clients or meet people that might refer to you, but to build trust, to find a supportive network for yourself, because you sometimes will need a shoulder to cry on, and to learn from other people, because in the end, everyone goes through the same challenges, and everyone has had the same problems and overcame them in some way. So you can skip those challenges by learning and maybe take some preventative measures, let's say. But you need to start creating trust, building credibility through that as well, and provide value, showing your expertise. And this is not necessarily by dancing, but by giving advice, valuable things. I'm not saying that you have to give everything away for free. Okay, we're now moving into, okay, you need to create so many free products and stuff. Yes, you need to be there, and people don't know you. How can they make a decision if they want to spend even 1 cent on you, or even some time, even for free things? People are overloaded with stuff, overloaded with ads and everything, that it's really difficult for them to filter. And I would say 70% of business comes through referrals. And this is where people need to start trusting you, when you can show your expertise. And you can use different media to do that, but also connecting with real people online, face to face, offline, face to face, if that's possible, and do that. Publish. Yeah, sorry.
Go on. The thing is, I wanted to ask you because so that you didn't move far away from that question.
Yes.
How to choose the right channel? What are your thoughts on it?
Yes. First, I think about, of course, where your target audience is. Where is the right people that you want to be your ideal client? Because ideally, you thought about that already. And don't be afraid to be too narrow, because just because you have this one image of one person doesn't mean that other people won't work with you. My ideal client are women, and there's lots more details to that. But I also work a lot with men. And I enjoy that as well. And a lot of men and women join my academy. And I mean, these days we have anyway more than 2 genders, but I'm not going to go into that. So that's one thing. But then again, you should choose something where you also feel comfortable with. I like you grow out of your comfort zone and try new things. But for sure, there's no point being on Instagram if you know your target audience is not on Instagram. So I think the first decision should be based on, okay, where's your target audience? No, the very first thing is, what do you want to get out of it? Because if you want to get to your target audience, then choose the ones where your target audience is. If you want to get to potential partners to collaborate with, you choose other platforms. If you want to learn something for yourself, you choose other ones as well and connect there. So these are things. But if we're talking about getting potential clients, go where they are. Check out what you enjoy doing and where you can keep a consistent visibility, because that's another thing. There's no point doing one-off things. I'm not saying you have to post 3 times a day or even 1 time a day, but find the right things and test different things and see what worked and what didn't work, and try one channel first and master it, and then move on to the next one before you overwhelm yourself with things, because it's more time intense than you think.
When do you think that the channel is mastered? Because I heard this advice a lot, and people like, you have to master one channel. So what is that KPI? How I can understand that I mastered the channel?
Yeah, good question. And it's a bit overused as well. But I know that people say it all the time and understand what that means, more or less. But for me, my definition is that you feel comfortable doing it. It's easy for you to create content. You probably bulk created a lot of things that you can put on there. So there's a rhythm that doesn't take too much time for you anymore. So if it's video, if it's audio, whatever you choose, because it can be also a podcast, audio only, LinkedIn audio events, if you're not feeling comfortable on camera, but happy to speak. If you like pre-recorded things, you might think about podcasts. If you like being live and being challenged by some questions, maybe from the audience, you can do LinkedIn audio events or other audio events that you like to do. And I think if you have that rhythm and it feels effortless, and you enjoy it, and you that's for me already the mastering. It doesn't mean that you have all of a sudden 1 million followers or connections or something. Okay, for me the mastering is effortless, and you have something in the pipeline and it goes almost by itself, and there's this lovely rhythm, and then you can translate that into another channel, and you might want to have different strategies for different channels.
I absolutely love this description, because actually most of the people believe that until they make millions of followers on YouTube or something like this, they shouldn't be moving further away. And then they're disappointed because it doesn't happen fast enough. And the idea which you just shared, it's in a way might be a revelation for many people, that it's actually about their own comfort. And I think at the beginning, many entrepreneurs, they try too hard and they break themselves into some crazy kind of breakdowns, emotional breakdowns, in emotional holocaust, when they really, really don't know how to move forward with their families, with their life, everything else, because they just put 100% of themselves in business, 24/7, crazily invest their time, and then they see no result. Because what I usually teach people about self-image, about self-perception, when they feel comfortable about doing business, then the things changing, because people can sense that they feel comfortable about that what they do. So that's what you just say, it's super important. They need to master it and feel comfortable because they master it, not because they have millions of subscribers. Thank you so much for this. I really love it.
No, really, because I agree. A lot of people say, oh, but I have only 1,000 subscribers, and I have only 200 on my newsletter, and I have only, I don't know, 3,000 listeners on my podcast. This is already a great achievement. And you don't want 1 million followers on, let's talk about Instagram, for example, that are 90% not really maybe a potential client and never interacting, because they also follow a lot of other things. I'm not even talking about fake followers here that people buy. I don't know if people still do that. I know that there was this boom that people buy all the followers. And you want, if you have 500 followers, it's that are all engaged and love and watch your stories and see what you do and also connect with you, maybe start connecting with you on other channels. It's more valuable than 1 million followers that don't do nothing. And I think don't get pressured into numbers with this numbers game. I'm not talking about finances here, but in social media is the past. It really is. Everyone just wants to follow, and you have the credibility with following, not in the business life. It's not about that. If you want to be an influencer, that's different. You need to have that kind of following to be categorized officially as an influencer. But we're talking about business where people understand the connection, the real connections is more valuable than the number of followers.
Exactly. And it's another interesting aspect, because I had crazy amount of conversation with my subscribers, with some of my students. Literally, one of my students asked many times, by the way, she kind of doesn't believe me when I said you don't need, or you in fact should never ever buy followers. You should never ever buy comments or engagement, because it's not real. It will not convert into business transaction. That's why it actually has zero value. So don't do it. And she had a very strange idea. Somebody told her that if she will do it, people will see that she's credible, that she's important, because she have extra thousands of subscribers. So I always tell to my students that they need to focus on engagement rather than on the numbers. So engagement is more valuable if people communicate with you, if people recommend you, just as you said, it does make sense for business. If you have 500 people who are ready to buy from you using your 500 numbers, well, you're in a very good position, because 500 people can make many businesses really, really successful. So speaking about that, and I kind of like that we get into this story, because I'm going to have another guest next week, and she will be talking about social media. So I kind of want to link, as usually things in advance. So it will be really interesting. Thinking about that, some of my subscribers also told me that they feel really uncomfortable to show up without filters on social media. Nowadays you have to be perfect to be on social media, and many people buy into it. So for people, especially startups, people who don't have experience to be seen, to be visible, to show up. I remember when I started, I felt exposed. I felt uncomfortable. I was lucky that in 2008, I started my blog and become quite active on social media. Just started on Facebook, and it all was new and much easier. By that time, we didn't have that much filters and this much, fake culture, which is now the thing. So thinking about that, how to be authentic while you have to be exposed, while you're mastering your channel, and you're quite pressured by everybody else that you have to be perfect, because this story is everywhere. So how to stand against it and still be authentic?
Yes, and I mean, authenticity is my thing. If I can't be authentic, I'm not happy, and I think that's a true thing for everyone. If you can't be your authentic self, you putting on a mask, literally with filters or not literally. I think people will sense that as well. I mean, if talking about not the filter of the face on social media, but also the filter of what you're saying. And I know there's this saying, fake it until you make it. And that is kind of real, because if you're telling your brain and you want to achieve something for goal setting and for visualization and stuff, that's a great thing to do. But it doesn't mean that you should lie to people, and it doesn't mean that you should pretend to be someone else that you're not, because people will sense the fakeness. And people will, even if they can't put their finger on it and say, that's it, no, they say something's not right. For me, it all comes down to confidence, I think, a lot. And I mean, looking at different age groups and generations here, I grew up without even a mobile phone. I had my first mobile phone, I think, when I was 20, it wasn't, of course, a smartphone, but other generations already grow up with the phone, which is also a good and not good thing. Technology has always two sides to it. But the confidence is one thing everyone should work on. For me, my simplest confidence formula that I love to share is know what you know what you don't know, and be okay with that. So that's first of all, you know, I'm really good at one thing, I'm not good at another thing, and I'm not afraid to say this. To show up on social media, I think there's a few things that you always should have. You should have, if possible, quite a good audio and a good lighting. Doesn't mean that you need a massive ring light and a professional microphone or something. I don't have it here. I have a small microphone when I film outside. I do videos outside a lot, and I have a noise cancelling app on my phone to then basically filter out the noises around me. It's a microphone that wasn't expensive, but at least the sound is okay, also with the noise cancelling app afterwards. And I always make sure I'm in a good light. Now, when we're here, I have another microphone that's specifically for the computer, like you have there, and a ring light to have good lighting. But everyone can do that with very little money, or even outside in nature, to have those. This already helps to lift up the quality of a video. Now, having some video training maybe by someone, or checking out some tips, can really help, and being confident enough on other things. Now, if you are really conscious about things, I mean, I never wear makeup. The only thing I wear is mascara, but that's just me all lifelong. And I don't care about too much, but I'm a very extroverted and very confident person. Not showing up on filters is also difficult, because sometimes they're like a preset, even on your phone. I find this, my fiance did some pictures, and I'm like, you look a bit weird in there. Nice, but weird. It's not my real face. And we found out that there was a filter preset, not us putting it in there. And it's just, I think, trying it also without filters, bit of good light, a bit sound quality, and you will probably see that it's not as bad as you think, and that it's great. And always also not being perfect with what you're saying or anything. Everything comes with training, and you will see authentic videos will probably have more success than filtered, super polished videos, because humans connect with humans. They want to see that you're flawsome. Okay, you have your flaws, but you're awesome, you're flawsome. And because then they can connect with you better. You don't want people to look up to you like, oh, you're the queen, or now the king in England, for example. You want them to connect with you, to identify with you, and to see you as a nice person on the same level, where they can talk, where they can chat, and where they can have authentic exchange of conversations. And you don't achieve this with filtered, super polished videos.
Absolutely. And first of all, you almost make an advertising for my training, Visibility Gym. So anybody who have problems with video, join Visibility Gym. We'll put
There you
links
go.
somewhere
Yeah.
below, and we will train you how to really enjoy your camera presence and all the things. But the interesting thing also, where you connect with another guest, Laurie Robertson, she's a public speaker. She said, nobody cares how you fall, but everybody care how you're going to get up.
Yeah,
And
love
that's
that.
so powerful, really.
Yes.
So you totally connected with this idea, like really, you don't need to be perfect. You really need to feel confident and really enjoy what you're doing. So let's dive into the meat of our conversations. So I really want to know the thing. So let's say somebody is already visible, they choose the channel, they become confident with some training on video, on camera, whatsoever. So that's all fine. But then I personally experienced this when I started one of my businesses, especially at the beginning. How to run the traffic, especially in this crowded market, because I have no problem to convert people. So I'm very good in converting on webinars, presenting webinars, I'm confident on camera. But when it comes to drive the traffic to this webinar, then it's always a question, because nowadays the exposure is such, everybody offer free webinars, free masterclasses, free lead magnets. So organic marketing is always related to reaching out to people somehow. So what is your best suggestion to drive traffic to masterclass or any kind of conversion tool to get more people so that they be engaged customers?
Yes, I think one thing is to, I mean, there's lots of things and there's a mix of things that you should and can do, and try what works and what didn't work. And if it didn't work, why, and adjust and try again. So it's a path. It's not going to be, you try this one thing that I tell you now and that will do. However, I think one thing is really make use of communities that you're part of. I joined also paid communities, and I'm also part of communities and groups on LinkedIn, for example, that are not paid. And there I build up a trust and connection. And there I have also the chance to share my events. And they will publish it also in their network, and everyone in their community will see it. So you have already a pool there of people that you might have connected with. So you're part of networking groups. A lot of times, if you go to online networking groups, you have the chance maybe to do a shout out or at least put stuff in the chat. People usually download the chat and go through and connect with people afterwards. Of course, posting on social media is another thing. I like doing also a series about something that's coming up and give good reasons and benefits why they should join. Because the question to answer always is, what's in it for me? And that's not, oh, it's going to be a webinar that's 60-minute long and it's going to tell you about this, and this, a low and no cost marketing for entrepreneurs. You want to tell them the benefits and why they should join. And these are not the benefits. These are the features. These are like the framework of what you're actually offering. So always outlining benefits and being as specific as possible, speaking to a specific person, not I'm doing this webinar on low cost and low cost marketing ideas. Okay, you can be very specific. You can say on this topic for entrepreneurs who have just started out and want to get their marketing rolling but don't have the funds. And this means you will be able to achieve this and that and that. So you give all those benefits. I would always challenge everyone to do a list of 50 benefits of what you're doing. And then not communicate all 50 at once, but you can use these as different things. And when I talk also about series, and like you said, you already build up visibility, you're happy to be on camera, go live on your social media, LinkedIn, for example, Instagram, if you want to, or Facebook, wherever you are, and have one live about what you're actually doing in that webinar, one about the benefits, one about where you're asking frequently asked questions, one where you say, this is a live Q&A, ask me anything about it, one where you might go live with a guest that was already a participant on a previous one that speaks for you. So using testimonials is extremely powerful, because us saying how great we are and us saying how great this is, what we're offering, is okay. And obviously we need to be confident about it. And if we don't think it's great, we probably wouldn't do it. But having someone else saying how great and it is what you're doing and what it did for them is one of the most powerful things you can do. So working a lot with that and asking also them to distribute it to their network, asking partners to distribute it to in their newsletter and things like that. So broadening your network as much as possible with the least effort as possible by being part of communities, groups, and partnering up with other people that would distribute stuff for you is really useful. And one last thing I'm going to say is, for me, what works really well is setting up, because of the nature of what I'm doing, is setting up a LinkedIn event and invite people. I do LinkedIn audio events. I have multiple hundreds of people signing up to these. Of course, you will have a dropout. That's another thing you need to be aware of. If you're not charging for things and you're providing hopefully value with that, you will have a high percentage of dropouts. So if you want 100 people to appear, you need 500 to 600 people to sign up. If you want 40 people to appear, you need 200 people to be signed up. So there's always this gap. This is to keep in mind, and how far you have to push it and how many you need to register to then have a crucial amount of people attending, actually, if we're talking about free things.
How do you push this subscription rate? If, for example, you want to have 100 and as you say, you need to have 200 subscribers. So, and you got 70, let's say. So what to do to improve these numbers?
Again, I'm always doing what I just said. So I reactivate things. I'm posting multiple times on LinkedIn, and I really invite. LinkedIn lets you invite up to 1,000 people for a week, and depends on what you do. And don't be afraid, because most signups happen in the last 3 days. I usually have, I think, oh God, I have 50 people signed up, which is great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Even if 2 people show up, that's amazing for me, because I have great conversations. However, if I want to have 40 people showing up and I think, oh my God, I have 40 people signed up, within 2 days, all of a sudden I'm over 200. Also because I built up a network over the last 10 years that's, to me, incredible, valuable, and quite big. And again, what does that mean in numbers? I mean, I don't have 10,000 LinkedIn connections. I have 5,500, which is really a great big number in my point of view. Someone that has 120,000 will say, what do you want with that? But I know at least half of those people. It's not random people I connected with. It's people I've met that came to my event, that were in my academy, that are on my newsletter. So there's all this interconnection between all the kind of different channels, and they are coming back to the numbers. You have the ones, always the same people coming to my events, plus some new ones, which is great because they start trusting me. They see the value, they enjoy the conversations. And this is where you want to, like they say, turn the followers into fans and into trusted connections. But again, I would continue inviting people and posting about things.
The question is this, let's say you have these subscriptions. My personal problem was because I was not sure how to use events on LinkedIn. So I have these people who are attendees. So you don't have the emails, you just can message to them, or how do you manage this?
Yes. So one thing is, you can, if you post on the event page, everyone will get a notification that you posted on the event page. So that's one thing. They will see that. You can message people individually, of course, if you either have the paid LinkedIn version or if they're your connection. Because if I have 200 people signed up, just 50 or 60 of these are my connection. So I cannot usually on LinkedIn, you can only message connections unless you have the paid version, which I don't have because I don't see for myself the value of that. And this is one thing, you can start getting them excited. You can tag them and things. And every time someone came to my event, so LinkedIn audio events is mine are like a conversation. People can come up on stage and speak. And I always take a screenshot of the people that do speak and send them a message afterwards saying, thank you for attending and participating in the conversation. I hope I see you next time. And I send them the link. So that's one thing, obviously, for the active participants. Then you have a lot of listeners and you can't message them all the link. I did that for the very first event. I did send everyone, but I had only 40 people, which is a great number, and which is more or less the average, probably between 40 and 100, let's say. But I did do the effort the first time around and sent everyone the message and saying thank you. And every time, because it's a regular thing every week, every time at the end of the event, I say, remember, next week we have the next event, which is about this and that. And I'm going to give you the link afterwards on the events page. So I'm posting already on this events page for the event next time. And I also ask people to share the event. And people do. I have, and again, this is not a lot for a lot of people. For me, that's wonderful. I have 20 people sharing the events on LinkedIn and say, these are great conversations. Make sure you join. And again, they are having their connections that then come.
Fantastic. And I love the fact that you started this idea. We're going to talk about this in a minute. The consistency, because it's a big elephant in the room, especially for organic marketing, because people are habitual to think that they will post today and then after 3 weeks and then 5 times next week after that, and then for a year they will disappear and everything will be just fine. But it doesn't work like that, unfortunately, especially with organic marketing, because we need to show up in order to algorithm to show us to other people. And the more consistent we are, the more we're reaching out, the more, and especially through Messenger, the more algorithm believe that we are in a closer connection with these people and then show us to more and to more and to more people. So it does work. I absolutely 100% know that. And that what you describe is like a lot of discipline. So I want to ask you this part about consistency. I know that for entrepreneurs who are as usually busy, not only they don't have that much money, they also don't have that much time. And for them, it's sometimes challenging to post daily or twice a week or whatsoever, to stick to a specific schedule. Because, as you said initially, they don't treat marketing as a necessary tool, which is an interesting thing. It's like one of the most important tools in the business, but they can spend time to meet with some people on networking. They can fix time to talk to some people on phone, but they can't fix time for their specific social media activity. And they, in the end of the day, when they're exhausted, when they think that it's time to speak to family for the difference, they realize that they now have to post something. And they either go live or they post something which is like, meh, I just want to post something, whatever, I'm consistent, and it doesn't work. Or they just don't go live or they don't post anything and they skip and they feel guilty, and then maybe they post next day, maybe not. So how to overcome this, how to become more consistent and more conscious about your social media presence?
Yes. First thing, have a strategy. So like, you don't try to come up every day with something that you want to post. There might be spontaneous things where you think, oh, this would be a great post. And if it's very timely that you have to post it in that moment, you can, of course, or you can go live, or you do like a little video or something, do that. But probably can wait, and you can put it in the time schedule. Have a strategy, what you want to post, what's appropriate, what is interesting, and what provides value to the people. And I'm not talking about having lots of selfies of yours. We're talking about, for example, on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my medium, and I'm also doing a lot of things on Instagram. I picked it back up because I wanted to try out a few things, and the world has changed. I'm not on TikTok, for example. I really am not, and I will probably never be, because I'm aware that it's taking a lot of time from you, not only if you want to create content, but also scrolling through, because it's created for that, to keep you there for hours. So that's why I'm not going to get on there, and the same for other social media. Have a strategy and know what provides value and what really makes sense to post. So not for the sake of posting, like you said, oh, I'm going to have to post today, so let's post a picture of this and say something that doesn't make sense. Provoke something, ask some questions, give some inspiration or valuable tips. Have a strategy for that and think about, okay, on Mondays, I'm going to post this, on Tuesdays, this, on Wednesday, this. Maybe you post every day of the week. Maybe you post 5 times a week. Maybe you post 3 times a week. That's fine. Have a strategy. And this is the consistency that you need to have. It's the same when you start a podcast. You can't, you can do what you want because it's all for you, but you shouldn't probably post one episode and then wait 3 months and post another one and then wait 2 months and post another one. Schedule them in, create them up front. And this is the first thing. So strategy, have a plan, and then you can bulk create. Unless it's very topical, like I said, you can have flexibility for that. And also think about, the topic that I'm posting now might not be sensitive to post now, because maybe something happened in the world and what you're saying doesn't fit with what's happening in the world at the moment. But then you can always take it out. So I'm a massive fan of bulk creation, and I'm obsessed and extremely productive with that. And that means I make a strategy. I come up with, okay, I want to do videos outside. So I wanted to launch these open air business bites, they're called, on YouTube first, and then they were re-edited for other social media channels to reuse. But basically it is, I give little snippets of advice, maximum 2 minutes, usually between 30 seconds and 1 minute, because also you need to think about the attention span of people. Not even going into this, it goes down dramatically, even for me, which I really don't like. But it's just the way the world goes, because we have this info flood, not as much as we had back then. And now you have everything all the time. Anyway, so I was thinking about the topics I can talk about. And I made a list. I created a simple Excel sheet. You don't need tools, project management tools. You can also have everything a step in Asana or whatever. And I use Asana for other things. But for me, it works easier. I have an Excel sheet and I came up with 90 topics to talk about. 90. There, because I'm obviously 10 years in business, 11 now, I have all of this. So I was thinking, okay, in productivity, what kind of little tips can I give? In marketing, what kind of little tips can I give? And I have this list. And every time I'm out somewhere, even hiking or something, I have my tripod, I have my little microphone, and I open up on my phone this Google Sheet, and I think, okay, I'm going to talk about this. No script, nothing. And I record there and then. So this is for that. And I created a lot of these videos before I even started editing them and before I even launched anything. So I had about 20, 25 videos ready before I even started launching them, because then I wasn't in the pressure, oh God, because I want to post one every week. I have to quickly create one and have to go somewhere, but it's raining, I can't. For Instagram, the same. So when I decided I want to try it, I'm going to do some reels. I did 70 reels in one day, filming, because I was prepared. Yeah, that's why I'm saying. But I was prepared. I was thinking about it. I created a sheet. I created the music that I wanted with them, or the voiceover, whatever it is, next to it. Another day, I came up with the stuff I wanted to say in bullet points in the next column. And then all I had to do was set up once, because also when you're filming with a microphone, a light or something, the setup, unless you have a studio just for that, which I don't, then it just takes time. And I don't want to do that over and over again for a 2-minute video. So I'm just taking out a whole day, batch create, and then a whole day batch edit, or maybe a couple of days, 3 days, and then a whole day uploading. I have actually someone who's doing these things for me, because I'm in the position to be able to outsource and pay someone. But if you are not, and we're talking about investing time, I would dedicate specific times to the specific steps in that process and just batch create as much as you can. And then you can start. And then you can start posting, scheduling in, and then you're consistent.
It's an interesting thing, because I was researching a lot about what is missing in business, and I restarted businesses like from scratch many, many times, and therefore like I can overcome things which didn't work once. So I know already many times, this is not working, this is working, stuff like that. But then I figured out that certain things are still not working. So I was researching a lot, and I realized, and this is something which many experienced self-development teachers teach they say that discipline is one of the key features which entrepreneurs have to develop in order to run business, in order to run the social media activity, in order to run the marketing, and pretty much any activity in business. That's why the ex-sport people or ex-army people, they are achieving great results in business because they already have this discipline inbuilt, and now they just use this skill and they become disciplined and effective in business. And I think this is what many entrepreneurs, younger entrepreneurs, fresher entrepreneurs are missing. So thank you so much for this as well, because it's a great reminder that planning can help them to move forward faster. And many people just skip this part. They're like, okay, I will post when I feel like. I don't want to post when it doesn't make sense. And especially nowadays with ChatGPT, that's another animal, in the room, when you can actually create everything and feel it's all right. But again, it's not really authentic. So you need to know how to play with this tool rather than blatantly ask, just like, yeah, create that and do that and then post. So what I want to ask, and that will be the question before 3 best tips. So that's the last question before 3 best tips. What is your routines, your personal routines to run your business in the disciplined manner? Because I can see that you're organized and very well planned person.
My routine. So first, for me, I need to set myself up for the day. I need a bit of time to wake up. And I'm a person who needs to have the sense of achievement always. Always. It's really difficult to do nothing. And with to do nothing, I mean, sit on the couch and watch a movie or something like that. I really learned that over time because you need it, because doing nothing can empty the head and gives you so much new energy and inspiration. So I would always tell people, try also sometimes to do nothing, but it can be extremely difficult for me. And it means also then it's difficult for other people who want to do nothing, but I need to do something. So when I watch something, I have to do something in a creative way because I'm knitting a new dress or something like that. And I always have this urge to learn new things. But I think these are things in common with a lot of entrepreneurs, that always there's this will to improve and always this will to do something. So I do have a morning routine to set myself up for the day and to feel already accomplished before I even start. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. For some people, that's not early because they get up at 4. I cannot do that. That's the max, the earliest I can get up. But it also means I go to bed at 9:30 and read something and sleep by 10. This means I get my 8 hours of sleep. If I can't get to bed early like this, I get up later and skip also some of the morning routine. Flexibility, super important, even in the routine, I think. So I do have a 2-hour morning routine, actually, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but it has to do with some exercise, learning languages, doing some meditation and some writing, and all kind of things I try to do. And then I already have my to-do list for the day. So I call that today list. So there's a to-do list that is never empty, as for everyone else. Nice things to do when you have time, nice things to do, things you have to do. And then we can talk about prioritizing models and stuff like this. But I do have a today list that I already created the day before. And then I check my emails. First thing I do is check my emails. Everything I can get done in 2 minutes, I do there, and then it doesn't even touch the to-do list or today list. But there might be a couple of things that I have to add to the today list. And then usually I block time. So with not jumping from one task to another, I try to block things. Okay, this is my social media hour where I have to do things. This is the accounting that I have to do. And always at the first of the month, I have to send my accounts in and with all the stuff, which I, though, have a good routine of starting to have it already ready. And I just need to add my bank statements and send it off. So blocking out time, knowing when also to have lunch. So I'm working from home. My fiance works from home. And we know, okay, at 12 o'clock our time, we eat. And I make time for lunch, 1 hour. it needs to be 1 hour. If we can, today I'm looking this way out of the window, it's super rainy. But usually if the weather is okay, we eat, and then we go for a walk without a phone. One of my routines is also putting my phone in airplane mode, especially if I have to be really focused, closing down my email tab or email program, because then, and I don't have any notifications on nothing, because they distract. And yeah, just going through almost the similar things every day for the work routine. Okay, now I check my emails. Okay, now I do social media. Now I reply to all the messages on LinkedIn. Now I do this. And then in the afternoon, usually things like that. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't work because people do it in the morning. For me, I try always to do my recordings for my podcast and stuff always in the afternoon at the end of the day, like we're doing right now as well. And then it's good to have a end of the day ritual, which I haven't established yet. It's not been a habit yet, which I would like to, and I do it from time to time and hope it becomes a habit. Which is, I have one song that I like to have, switch off the computer and then put on the song and dance with the living room. But I don't do that every day. But I think that's good, especially if you're working from home. You need disconnecting from a room and from the laptop can be even more difficult because for your brain, because you're not changing the location. So that's more or less in a rough outline what I do.
That's very interesting, because I see that you are really well-planned person. You enjoy planning, you enjoy following the plan, you enjoy following the list. So I know that for many people that would be a challenge. The challenge of following any plan, not writing a plan, to be honest, because it's an interesting thing. To me personally, I love writing plans. I love journaling, I love planning, I love creating strategy, but then I would like somebody else to follow that, because that's the best for me. So it's really, sometimes people feel challenging about that, but it's really great that you can follow that.
Yeah,
So
I can tell you the challenge for me is to be flexible enough. I'm really working on that, because if I made plans, I want to follow that. And if I can't, it's really putting me out of balance a bit. That's, if you want to talk about weaknesses or things to improve, that's what I'm really working on, especially because I'm with a partner, Italian. If we talk about stereotypes, that's extremely flexible. Doesn't mean that I don't spontaneous things, but it means if I have a plan, even if it's by 5 minutes out of my planning, it drives me mental. So that's another thing I would always say: plan, and try to follow the plan, but be as flexible as you can.
yeah,
It's better for you and for the people around
you're
you.
on the other side of the stick. I understood that. So, another problem from the very different perspective, but it's also good to know that, people actually have these flaws, because, when we have these problems, especially at the first business, it's a startup or something like this, you're like, oh my God, all these problems, and I'm only a stupid person who have all these problems. No, we all have them. It's
Exactly.
true.
And no one talks about them. Coming back to being
Exactly.
perfect online. Why not? Because people learn from you, and you will get so many solutions so much quicker, because people say, I had the same thing. And they tell you what they did. So don't be afraid to, and people see that as a weakness. No one knows everything. No one. And everyone has this similar challenges, different levels, different industries, but the solutions are always transferable.
Yeah, in terms of the content, I can give a suggestion, because I was experimented a long time ago a lot with question posts, and I think they're very effective as a conversation starters, because people are keen to help other people. But when we ask questions, many marketing teachers say that you ask question which is within the area of your expertise. And then you suggest that you give the recommendations, and, you kind of sell your product because people are already interested. But in reality, I was only attracted people who want to help me with that. So they don't want my solution. They want to help me with this, and they already have solution for me.
Yes.
So when we craft this type of questions, or this vulnerable post, when we speak about our weaknesses, it's good that this will attract buyers and communities. So it also can be done really, really strategically. So it's good that we discuss this as well, like, in a very specific professional way.
Yes.
So get into our 3 best tips for low cost marketing.
Yes,
Go.
I think more in business in general. So we talked about authenticity and things like that, and that comes also down to confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, no one will.
Yes.
It's like that, because if you have to pitch what you're doing in a normal conversation, in an elevator pitch, maybe in another kind of setting, and you're not believing in it yourself, and you're not confident about it, and you're not passionate about it,
Yeah.
people will feel no, and they will say, I'm probably not going to work with her because she's not really confident about what she's saying there. So I think that would be the first step. If we're talking about also low cost marketing, of course, at the beginning, I wasn't outsourcing anything, because also for me, no, I do this myself. I do the website myself. I do the social media posts myself. And it's a great learning curve, because I think it's good that you learn and acquire these skills, because once you're ready to outsource, then you know who you can outsource it to. So that would be probably one of the other things. So learn the basics of things first that you might want to outsource, because otherwise you fall into traps of people who say they're good at something, but you don't actually know, and you don't know if it's true or not, and you will never know if it's true or not, because you don't have the basics for that. Build a supportive network around you as soon as you start, or even before. That's crucial. Having a supportive network is one of the most important things, I think, that you can have in business. And people sometimes put that aside and think, oh, I'm not ready yet, or I'm just starting out, no one wants to connect with me. So all these limiting beliefs, but build that up, because that's the best marketing that you can do as well. That doesn't cost you anything unless you join groups that cost money. But usually it's quite low cost as well.
I absolutely love these 3 tips because, first of all, I teach a lot about the self-image and how to overcome these limiting beliefs in my coaching. And I absolutely always recommend people to read Psycho-Cybernetic by Maxwell Maltz, because it helps a lot to understand how self-image can either destroy your business, either make it like huge success. So definitely read that. Brian Tracy, absolutely must have, must listen. It's amazing advice. So many times I think entrepreneurs, beginners, they underestimate the level of confidence which they need to have on the sales calls, on conversations, the real confidence, not fake confidence. So it's really good to have the skills and knowledge how to put yourself into the confidence mode. So it's fantastic advice. Absolutely agree with you. The next one, which you said, learn before you delegate. Whoa, been teaching that like for years. So agree with you. Nobody listened to that, but it's actually so true. I so agree with you, because people think that they can delegate everything. And guess what? They can delegate videos, public speaking, they can delegate so many things. And they believe they can without research. And then in the end of the day, it happened that they still have to learn it. So it's better to learn everything, better
And
to
you waste a lot
understand
of
it.
money.
Yes.
Because you're giving it to people that don't do a good job.
Absolutely. I so agree with you. I want to write it with big letters somewhere, it's really important. So networking, yes, absolutely. We have several interviews here with networking experts. I think many of our listeners can benefit from that. If you like, you can also watch the networking experts, because I was obsessed with interviewing people who have huge networking or run huge paid networking. I had no idea how it works. So I wanted to have that insider's effect and things like that. So 100%, it's absolutely super valuable tips. Thank you so much for them. How people can connect with you, because I see that you give a lot of very specific, very technical, very well planned recommendations. And I think people who resonate with that can instantly hire you as no question asked, because you show your nature in a very, very specific way. So how people can connect with you?
I think there's two ways. One, of course, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So the URL is Christine the Coach in the end. So linkedin.com/.
I will put all the links in the description, no worries.
And the other one is if you would like to make some use of the resources, I do have the Academy, which is a membership-based site. And there's a free package, a starter package there, where you're already at a community where you get a 30-day Kickstart Your Business Challenge with exactly step-by-step things, a massive workbook. You get a checklist and all kind of different resources, social media, online courses, part of that package. So, and that's all free because I want to help as many people as I can. And this way people will see if they actually like my style, if they like working with me, and then you can see what else I have to offer. But these free things, connect with me on LinkedIn for sure, and check out the free Academy level.
Fantastic. I will give all the link in the description below, and absolutely connect with Christine, because it's amazing how much she can do for you. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.